Hello, everyone, and welcome to Intrusive Thoughts. And welcome back to Intrusive Thoughts if you've listened to Intrusive Thoughts ever before. I am your host, Adam Rippon, and it's good to have you here. I am currently recording this episode of Intrusive Thoughts, the fourth time I'm saying it, in New York City, because that's where I am. And that's how you record from a place. You have to be there to do that. And I'm here. That's where I am, if you're wondering. I am in New York City because I mentioned on the last episode, which came out last week, which is sort of how the episodes work, you know, especially when you refer to the last one. It would be the one before this, that I was going to be going on a trip. And that trip was to a skating competition in Lake Placid, New York. And so to get to Lake Placid, I was going to fly, I did fly into, where did I fly into? JFK. Okay. I flew into the famous airport, JFK International. And from there, I stayed with my friend in Manhattan. And then we drove from Manhattan to Lake Placid the next day, which is like 5 hours. I got to tell you, the drive kind of flew by because it was me and it was two of my friends, because I had another friend who took a red eye into Newark, and that's who picked us up. So we were in her rental car. Are you following me at all? I hope any of what I'm saying is making sense. Okay? So just to kind of like go back and explain it a little bit better. I, Adam Rippon, flew to New York. Yeah. And then I stayed in New York. And then I had a friend that also flew into... Excuse me. Oh, my God. You know, this episode is starting out kind of with me sneezing, but I do feel like it will get better. So my other friend flew into New York, got a rental car. Okay, she got a rental car, then drove into Manhattan, picked me and my friend up. Then we drove to Lake Placid. That's a 5-hour drive. Okay, you get it. Now I think you get it. I get it now. I feel much better about that story. On the way up to Lake Placid, I'm going to like just take you through it, walk you through it. On the way up to Lake Placid, I remembered that another one of my friends said, make sure you bring boots. Okay. Make sure you bring boots. I don't own boots, like for the snow. So that's going to be a problem, isn't it? Well, it wasn't a problem. I'll tell you why. And it wasn't a problem because about halfway through, we decided to stop. And we stopped at an L.L.Bean, which I had never been into, but I had always wished of going into an L.L.Bean. And it was my wish to go into that L.L.Bean because we stopped at I think it was a Whole Foods we stopped at. So I saw the L.L.Bean in this sort of same strip mall area in Albany, New York. Huge shout out to the L.L.Bean in Albany, New York. So I go in, and honestly, my only sort of interaction with an L.L.Bean was that when I was in school, the really popular kids had L.L.Bean backpacks with their initials embroidered in them. And I always thought that, like, if I made it big, I would get myself an L.L.Bean backpack with my initials in it. And I'm actually, now that I'm saying it, I am, got my laptop open right here. Maybe I should do it. Hold on. I'm LLBean.com. It's like my computer already knows. I mean, I guess there are no, other companies that start with LL.Bean. So it just goes right there. I should do this. Bags and travel. Okay. Explore LL.Bean. I'm looking at the website right now. Okay. And I'm going to try to talk through it so that we can figure this out together. Because I've decided in this moment, when I'm telling you the story of how I drove from New York to Albany, New York to Lake Placid, I stopped at an L.L.Bean in New York. Let me finish that story first before I go. kind of further into the L.L.Bean of it all. So I walked into the L.L.Bean and I saw that they had boots. I tried on some like whatever L.L.Bean brand boots, didn't love them. And then I saw these boots, which like they're Australian. People have them, right? Like these are like it's like a popular brand of boots, Australian something. I cannot remember for the life of me what the name of them are. They start with a B, and I really want to say Bridgestone, but I know that those are tires. Breckenridge. Damn it. What are the name of them? Now I want to say Wellies. That's not it either. Brecken. Beach Story. No. Okay. I think by the end, we'll figure it out. Bredgewello? No. Damn it. And I really want you to trust me that I'm trying to say the right word. Breadwinner. No. And I have to tell you that like what's going on right now is like really tough for me because I know that the boots are right over there. But I don't want to get up and go get them to look at them. Bridge. Benny. No. It starts with the B. If you know what I'm talking about, this, I don't know, can we call it a segment on Australian boots? Is, I'm sure, killing you. And I'm sorry. Broadenstowers. Hold on. Now I have to Google it. Let me search Broadenstowers. Okay. B. Boots. Australia. I also have usually never like searched for things during recording. Blundstones. That's it. Okay. Blundstone boots. I was pretty close. Bredge release. So I got these Blundstone boots. I have to tell you, they're fantastic. They're absolutely amazing. I love them. But I am laughing that, one, I'm not laughing about not knowing the name. That could happen to anyone, even though it just happened to me right now. I am laughing because I went into the L.L.Bean and the only thing I got was something that wasn't an L.L.Bean brand something. And when I say I'm laughing, I mean like I'm going, haha. I'm not like actually, it's not funny that happened. It is what it is. Okay. You get it. We're on the same page. So I got these Blundstone boots and I thought, okay, I guess I'll wear them in Lake Placid. I will tell you, it's the greatest decision I've ever made in my entire life. Thank God my friend said, bring your boots, because I had them and I needed them. I really did need them the entire time. I said, oh my God, we're in a blizzard. And everyone around me started laughing. They started laughing in the way that, like, when you say, oh my God, I was laughing, they were laughing. Not in the way that I was just describing laughter as a, they were laughing, belly laughing. Blizzard. I'm like, yeah, that's a blizzard. I can't see. They're like, that's not a blizzard. This is just snowing. All right, fuck off, please. The blizzard. And so those Blundstone boots, they really came in handy. I want to tell you a little bit about my trip in Lake Placid. So obviously I was there for a skating competition, and I have another podcast called The Run Through. I think we have some like crossover listeners. And that podcast I do with my friend. Her name is Sarah Hughes. And in skating, there is an Olympic champion from 2002 whose name is Sarah Hughes. But my friend is not that woman, and she never will be. And she's come to terms with that, and I've come to terms with that. And I do it with another friend of mine. Her name is Ashley Wagner. And we used to skate together, and Ashley was like an amazing skater herself. And so we have a lot of fun. And we did 3 live podcast shows while we were there. And those were amazing. We had like an amazing time. Now, I brought my skates with me Not because I was like, maybe I'll compete. That's not going to happen. No way, Jose. So I brought my skates because in Lake Placid is the home of 2 Winter Olympic Games, the 1932 Games and the 1980 Games, right? 1980, you might be familiar with a Miracle on Ice when the U.S. hockey team beat the Soviet Union to a pulp. Those fuckers went home with a silver. Failures. Me saying that as someone who didn't even do that. But that's what the movie Miracle would have you believe. Because even for the U.S., it was a miracle that they had won, right? And when you think of that, like as an athlete, that I know it's like a good thing, right? The Americans won, but it's not, even that team doesn't think that they were better or that they could have done it. They believe that it had to be a miracle that they won. And we still believe that it's a miracle. I think like after a while that would weigh on me if people called my greatest athletic achievement a miracle. I've never thought about it until right now in this moment that like the greatest thing that you did as an athlete, people still call, oh my God, that was a miracle. Like, not that you actually could have done it. They still can't believe that you did it, that you just truly were never going to do it. But that you did do it is a miracle. I don't know. I'm just saying, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, kind of let's back it up on the miracle, right? Maybe I was good, but no, it was a miracle. Okay. So that was the 1980 Olympic Games. Lake Placid is not a very big city. And when you're there, it's really amazing to think that this small town hosted an Olympic Games, especially if you've ever been to like a modern day Olympics where there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Unbelievable amounts of people. And I can't remember how many flags there are in front of the main like arena where the skating took place, but there's not many. And it's like this random amount of flags. And I want to say it's maybe like 10 or 12 different flags from different nations. And it seems like this like random assortment. And then I learned that the flags that are like in front of the building, those are the only nations that competed at the 1932 Olympics. And then all the nations that competed in the 1980 Olympics they're like down like another road. So then that's like when you see the perspective of how the Olympics have grown and how much bigger it is now than what it was. The arena and the Lake Placid arena has like kept the integrity of its structure. Okay. I know that sentence I just said sounds like, oh, he's about to talk about something boring. But what I'm saying is that it's so much smaller than like a normal arena that you would go into today. It's not small, but it's smaller. And I brought my skates because I thought that there was a chance that the outdoor skating rink where they held the speed skating events might be open. And it wasn't open. And so I was talking to somebody who worked like within the building that like, oh, I brought my skates and I was hoping that it would be open, but you know, it's not. And they had mentioned to me like, you could skate on the 1932 rink if you wanted to. And I thought, oh my God, like that would be kind of cool to skate on the same ice. Obviously, it's not the same ice, but to skate in the same space where they held the 1932 Olympics. And so I did do that, which was very cool. And what's even more interesting about that rink, it's that it's very small. There are not many seats at all. And you're just like in that space and you can see all of the pictures from 1932 and you're like, they've kept the integrity of the structure where it's like they haven't expanded that rink at all. It is what it is. And so I just thought that that was like very cool. And it felt very cool to like be in that space. There's a reason I wanted to skate on the 1932 rink. And if you're a run-through listener, we've talked a little bit about this. And also, listen, if you're like trying to get into the figure skating events and you don't know like where to start, on my figure skating podcast, we did like this series called the Lore series, where we did it on like all the disciplines so you can like go and learn kind of like all the characters from over the years. But the 1932 rink. In 1932, there was this Norwegian skater, and I'm promising you this is like, if you don't know anything about skating, this is for you, and I'm going to walk you through this and why it's just like really interesting. Now, in 1932, the woman who won the figure skating event was the Norwegian woman named Sonja Henie. Okay? Sonia Henie is the only woman to win 3 consecutive Olympic titles. No man has ever done that. There's one pair skater who's done it, but she's done it with 2 different partners. Not that that's like a dig on her. Like, she's also incredible. She is also sort of working for Putin. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. But Sonia Henie. So Sonia Henie won the 1928 games, the 1932 games, and the 1936 games. And she also, after the 1936 games, she retires. She moves to California. She becomes a huge movie star in Los Angeles. And at the time, in the like 30s, 40s, she was one of the highest paid actresses in Hollywood. In fact, if you go to the Chinese theater in Los Angeles, you can see her handprints, and she put like her skate blade prints. And they're like right in the front of the Chinese theater. Like, they will be very easy to find. And it's a huge piece of cement. Like, she was a huge motherfucking star. And so I was always like fascinated by her and was just like, wow, she's kind of fabulous. Like, I want to know more about Sonia Henie. And I found out more about her. So in the 1936 Olympics are in Berlin. And there's this pretty infamous guy in Germany at the time whose name was Adolf Hitler. And yes, we kind of have come to the Hitler part of this episode. I know you were wondering, because we did go from Blundstone boots to Adolf Hitler. Give me a second. It'll all maybe not come together, but this part will end soon. So what I've learned about Sonia Henie is that basically she's obsessed with like attention and fame. Been there, right? That's relatable to many of us. And so she doesn't always go about it the right way. I'm not giving her a pass. I'm just telling you like what it is. And one of those things that she didn't go about the right way was when Hitler passes like the podium, like after she wins the 1936 games. And also, before I go on, Sonia Henie was a cunt. She was not nice. She was mean, and she was basically a sociopath. All right? It's unfortunately not making me any less obsessed with this truly, maybe completely evil woman. That's my bad. It really is my bad. So this is where you go, okay, Sonia, get a grip, girl. Where Adolf Hitler is passing in like a motorcade past like the women's figure skating podium. And the bronze medalist, Vivienne Holten from Sweden, she hates Sonia Henie, by the way, because she believes Sonia Henie's father was telling all the judges, hey, whatever you do, keep Vivienne Holten off the motherfucking podium because we hate her. And then the silver medalist was some teenager from England who obviously, if you are over the age of 20, you hate teenagers. So Sonia Henie did hate her too. So that's the podium. I'm waiting a second because I am in New York City and there is a police car passing this apartment. It's not for me. It's for Sonia. From the grave. Sonia, take it away. I point the mic to the ground. Okay. Now, they're almost gone. Great. So, hearing an ambulance. It's off in the distance. All the best, you guys. Be safe. So, I gave you the rundown of like that 1936 podium. Vivian Holton is going, ugh, Adolf Hitler. She kind of doesn't do anything. The silver medalist, she's like not doing anything. Sonia Henie, big ol' fucking smile, Nazi salute. Oh, come on. Sonia, put your arm down. This is not the Republican National Convention. This is the Olympic Games. Put your arm down. She didn't. So just to remind you, there's a picture from that podium where the bronze medalist has her arms by her side. The silver medalist has her arms by her side. Sonia Henie has all 32 fucking teeth out and her arm at an angle pointing to Adolf Hitler. She's as happy as a clam. Now, what happens next is also insane. Hitler invites her to like his residence and she goes, oh my God, I'm coming. I'm going to go. And then within the next few years, it's rumored that Sonia Henie is the girlfriend of Adolf Hitler. Again, that's on Sonia. That's not on me. And this is where you go, okay, yeah, maybe she wasn't a good person. And maybe that's true. But there's something very fascinating about that. Very, very fascinating. So to kind of put a pin in it, she then obviously, like, she moves to Hollywood, huge actress. Then this photo comes out from the Olympics. And then everybody finds out that she took like this private meeting with his, at his private estate. And that's sort of, the beginning of the end of like her film career, because it's famously kind of frowned upon to have met with and maybe dated Adolf Hitler. I think as it should be, and it should remain that way. Then, like, as time goes on, she marries this like American soldier, and so then she starts to put together like different shows, and basically like people ask, like, what do you think her like political beliefs are? And there's another very famous skater who says, I don't think Sonia Henie believes in anything except that she should be fucking famous. And I don't care. I don't think she cares about anything other than herself. And to be totally honest, I don't even think she even knew who Adolf Hitler was. She just knew that he was a person who had a lot of power and that could probably help her in the long run. And after learning about Sonia Henie, I kind of do absolutely believe that. Because I think that she was going to do whatever she thought was like the most popular thing to do in that moment. And I don't think she was really thinking about like the bigger or grander vision or thought of what she was doing. Which is so incredible to be so short-sighted. I know. I love that I'm kind of I'm reading her out, right? She's dead, by the way. So she'll never hear this. She's not a listener, and she's never called the podcast. Strike 2, strike 3. Obviously, strike 1 is sympathizing with the Nazis. But strike 3 is not calling into the podcast. That's true. So she's just this like fascinating character. And she, was in that space. And I just, there are a lot of pictures of her from the 1932 Olympics, along with like other sports, but like, there are pictures of her with like in the arena. And so it's just like kind of surreal to be in that space because I've seen those pictures before. That's it on Sonja Henie and the Nazis. Moving on. So in Lake Placid, like I said, it's a small town, but it's beautiful. It's like a very cottage town. I gotta tell you, I do have like a 5 to 4, which you could also say 4 to 5 day limit on the cottage-core aesthetic. Because I don't know what it is. Just being around so much wood, I can't do it. I really like, there comes a certain point where I go, I think I'm going to be sick. And that's like nothing against people who like the cottage-core aesthetic. It's just not for me. And I hope that like, I'm not going to really expand on that any further because I do think that it makes enough sense. And like, you should just kind of agree with me that like, yeah, no, I get it. The cottage-core aesthetic is scary. To me, at least, it's very scary. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't think I should have anything to do with it. After 4 days, I'll tell you, the first 2 days, I'm going, this is so romantic. It's so gorgeous and beautiful. And then after that, I'm going, get me out of here. Get me the fuck out of here. Get me in a car that has chains on the tires and get me the fuck out of here. Hurry. And so that's how I felt by the end. But while I was there, I'm loving every second of it. But yes, it's a smaller town. And in this smaller town, there's like a few different restaurants, but I'm trying to keep it close to like where the arena is so that I'm not like walking too far. That being said, walking around is like quite easy. It's just like there's like one main street. I love it there, by the way. Okay. I'm making it sound, I don't know if you can like decide if I like it or if I hate it. I want you to know that everything I'm saying, even though I might say a few negative things, I like it. Click, click. Okay. I do like it. So one of the restaurants I was going to that I was frequenting was called the Pickled Pig. Okay. And it's like a kind of like barbecue joint. And it has all of like the classic signs of being delicious inside. And one of those classic things is that no matter what, you know that the food inside a barbecue restaurant will be delicious if they have oversized patio furniture, like comically sized lounge chairs that are wooden there. I don't really know what they're supposed to represent. Like you're going to get so big from eating this food that you're going to need this big chair, or it looks like a giant is going to go there and they're going to be sitting in this like patio wooden chair. If you know, you know. But this is like a common aesthetic, like comically large chairs. Like that's going to be there. Like there will be some sort of like comically large something in front of a barbecue joint if the food is really good. And the food here was good. I wouldn't go really good, but it was good. But they had their common thing was that they loved to serve you in a way that looked like they weren't done preparing it. Okay. What I mean by that is like I ordered a salad and it came in like a mixing bowl because I like the idea. Like I liked the huge bowl. But then everything came out on like trays. Everything looked like it was just like the next step would have been to put it on a plate. And they went, don't do that. Like that's going to take away from the rustic charm of this. Put everything on like aluminum trays and in a metal bowl. Like that's how they like would bring the food out. And I kind of thought it was fun, right? But this is what I mean about like, that's the cozy cottage charm, that everything is like mixed matched and like, oh, we just collected these spoons. Like every spoon is different. That makes me want to kill myself. When every spoon is different. Please don't ever say that to me again. I don't like that. I like it at first, and I like it as a vibe, but I don't like it as a lifestyle. And that's a lifestyle that I don't want to live, but I like it for this place. And I'm going to say this is I want you to know that what I'm saying is a very positive and glowing review of the pickled pig. Okay, like I don't want that to get like twisted or misconstrued that like, oh, now you're going to talk shit about. I liked it, and everyone there was amazing. Not only were they amazing. No, it's not. I don't mean to say not only were they amazing. I'd like to highlight one specific employee whose name was Yoan. Okay, Yoan was from Bosnia. And Yoan has been coming to Lake Placid for the last few years. He was young. He was cute. He was incredibly nice. He enjoyed that we knew what Bosnia was. And he was the hardest working person in Lake Placid. And I'm going to say this. We went into the pickled pig and he was so friendly and asking us all of these questions of like where we were, what we were doing. Incredibly friendly. And he was saying that he's also a ski instructor. And, you know, we were asking him about that. And he said that, you know, he was working at this restaurant until the slopes were open. And then he was going to start teaching skiing. And he was just great. So we left the restaurant. We said, Yoan, we'll be back. Thank you. You're amazing. The next day we go to lunch and we decided, let's try out a different place. And we go and it's a bit crowded and they go, hey, we have like another bar that's like upstairs and we have like open seating up there. Try up there. We go up there and who do we find upstairs in a completely different restaurant? That's right. Yoan. Yoan is also working at this restaurant. We go, Yoan, what are you doing here? He goes, well, I work here too. And I said, Yoan, how many restaurants are you working at? He's like, well, just these two for now. Just these two for now. What the hell does that mean? Yoan, you're the hardest working person in Lake Placid. Now, I want you to know that when we were looking for seats, Yoan was acting like it was so urgent that we find seating immediately. Like we were on the Titanic trying to get onto a lifeboat. And I will never forget his urgency because we found a table right away. So we say, Yoan, can't believe we ran into you. Thank you. We leave. Next day, we go to the pickled pig again. And who do we find working at the pickled pig that day? Yoan. Yoan, how are you? Oh, my God, it's a blessing to see you. He sits us down and we order. And maybe 2 minutes later, he comes back and goes, your food isn't here yet? That being said, we ordered about a minute ago. And we said, no, but we just ordered. He goes, I'm going to go check on that. He goes into the kitchen. He comes out and he goes, your food will be right out. He was right. That boy took care of us like we were family. And I will literally never forget Yoan from Lake Placid, from Bosnia. And I said to him, I said, you know, I think this is the last time we'll see you on this trip, but there's a part of me that feels like I'm going to see you again in this lifetime. I'm almost certain of it. And he said, yeah, that'd be nice. And I just have to say, I do hope that I run into Yoan again. But he was the hardest working person I'd like seen in Lake Placid because I had seen him at every place I was at working. So that was really nice. And then the next day, you know, that was the end of the competition. We drove back to New York. And so I am in New York currently right now in this moment. because I am going to stay out here because I have a friend who like films people when they're skating, and I want to like film myself doing some like skating things so that I can use it for like content that we can put together like segments for NBC during the Milan Olympics. Does that make sense? So basically, like, we can do a segment on, this is what this is, or explaining like different elements, but I'm going to collect the footage now because when I'm in Milan, it'll be too late to get the footage, right? So I'm like pre-recording different like segments to have footage. So that's what I'm doing like in New York now, but I had to wait a few days. One of the things that I needed to wait for is this. When I flew into New York a week ago, when I flew into New York 1 week ago, I was thinking it would be really fun to see the play Oh, Mary. And so I tried to find tickets. Everything was like sold out. And so I said, oh, I guess I'm not going to watch it. I don't know when I'll be back in New York. I don't know when I'll have a chance to see it again, but whatever. So I wasn't really planning to stay in New York a little bit like for these like next few days. But because I'm here, I reached out to some of my friends and was like, hey, I'm in town. Like, would love to see you. And one of my friends was like, have you seen Oh, Mary? And I said, no, but I wanted to like a week ago and I couldn't get tickets. I looked them up. There were tickets available. We got them. And I saw Oh, Mary last night with Jane Krakowski. Jane Krakowski is, for me, like one of the funniest actresses of all time. There's just something so perfect about the way that she delivers lines. And she just is so incredibly talented and funny. And I just like, I love her. So for me, sniff. I cannot believe I got to see Jane Krakowski as Mary in Oh, Mary. And she was like fantastic. And before the play started, we were sitting down and my friend turns to me and she goes, I want you to know I've seen this before. And that when I watched it, I thought to myself and I said, Adam needs to play Mary one day. And I was like, okay, I can't wait to watch this. And I walked away from Oh, Mary going, yeah, I do think that my Broadway debut, my voice cracked during that. I'm getting emotional. That my Broadway debut should be Mary in Oh, Mary. I do absolutely believe I would eat that part alive. I could. Oh my God. Give me the script and give me a week. Give me the wig, give me the dress. Because I could play the fuck out of a Mary Todd motherfucking Lincoln. I could. I know it in my heart and in my soul. That being said, it's incredibly funny. And if you're ever in New York, I would take the time to go and see it. It's the stupidest thing I've ever watched in my life. And I loved every second of it. Oh, Mary was written by a comedian whose name is Cole Escola, and they are one of the funniest people that like I've ever encountered. And I remember that like even years before Oh, Mary, I was going to watch Cole perform. I think it was like at some sort of like one-person show in Minneapolis. I think I was in Minneapolis and Cole was performing their one-person show, which was totally incredible. I loved every second of it. And this is like years ago. And even before that, I was obviously in love with Cole. And I think everybody saw that clip online. And if you didn't, there's this clip online where Jennifer Lawrence is on Las Culturistas. And she basically leaks that her and Emma Stone are producing a Miss Piggy movie that Cole is writing, which that, like, I had to sit with that information for a good minute or two of just like letting it absorb into the cracks and crevices of my brain, to just really let that sit and sink in, because that's incredible. I need to figure out how to get on that movie. Maybe now that I have those Blundstone boots, I'll march my way into their office and I'll go, put me in it. Please just put me in it. What else happened? Yeah, so Oh Mary, fantastic. New York, I'm in it. Sonia Henie, Nazi sympathizer. Ugh. Flying to New York on birthday. Birthday was good. I mean, birthday was just like fly, right? If I had to describe my birthday in one word, it would be fly, because I was in the air flying. I think that's like sort of it on like stories to share, at least like what I can think of right now. And Yoan, Sonia, Blundstone, L.L.Bean. Hold on, I'm going back to the website quick. Should I go to bags and travel? Everyday bags and totes, school backpacks and lunchboxes. Here we go. Okay. Oh my God, these are the backpacks that, like, should I get a large? Okay, I think I should get a large. I'm going to explain to you what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at a child who can be no older than 5 with a small backpack. A child who can be no older than 7 with a medium backpack, and a child who is going to develop scoliosis from how full their large backpack is, who looks to be about 12. And I, in good conscience, I wonder what size I should get. Okay, I want you to know that that's what I thought, even though there's like literal children. Okay, let's go to large backpacks. Oh my God, I'm nervous. Am I about to get a dream backpack? What the hell is all this? Okay, I'm going to need to do this off pod. Wait, okay. In my mind, these were like $500. They are cheaper than that. There are tie-dye ones. Really hate those. I do. I hate the thing with the strings on it. They have like, backpacks that have like those crisscross like elastic strings. One of them is like that. I want the exact one that my elementary school bullies had, and I can't seem to remember which one exactly that was. These do look a little, how do I say this? Hikery, and less what I want. Okay, I think, God, these are the only ones? So stupid. Wait, do I have to get like a medium? Let me look at the medium ones. Is this interesting to you at all? Is that what I want? I don't know. I'm going to have to do this on my own time. But am I going to do it? I don't know. I have to think about it. I've spent this long without an L.L.Bean backpack. I think I could go a lot longer. So I'm just saying that. All right, let's do a text message before we have to call the episode, because I have sort of been rambling on, and I guess I'm sorry, but I feel like that's okay. All right, let's find one of these text messages. I have a bunch of them open. Currently, my eyes are just like glazing over. I don't have my glasses. Oh, God. I'm letting this episode unravel at the very end. Okay. Okay, let's do this one. Sniff. All right. Here we go. Hold on. I'm kneeling over the desk. I need to get a little closer to read it. Don't have my reading glasses. Here we go. All right. Any second now. Hello, Adam. In your recent discussion of the inherent awkwardness of celebrity promotional events and the random photos that float around afterward, I was reminded of the time when I had my own such encounter like that, but the celebrity was you. And that's going to be the episode, you guys. We've had a thank you to Yoan and Sonia and okay, let's finish. And the celebrity was you. I'm sweating. I can't even imagine. Okay. A friend of a friend was involved in an event where you were promoting a champagne. Top tier brand partnership for sure. And I was invited last minute. Okay. If I'm thinking okay, hold on. The requested dress code was French Riviera. And I literally had nothing like that to wear and had no idea what that even really meant. So I desperately and blindly picked a dress from the closet. I do remember this. I did an event for Moet, which I always thought it was Moet. It's not. It's Moet. The champagne. And they were doing a champagne where it was like, put the champagne on ice. Okay. So it was like a bit sweeter than like champagne was. So it was meant to be poured over ice. I still remember my talking points. So any brands out there, just know that I really absorb those talking points. I do. And this champagne was delicious. They gave me, I'm going to tell you this, they gave me 2 huge bottles of it that I am saving for no good reason. I should just open them, but they're just like huge. And to the Moet company, thank you. Really, I believe in that. Okay. This was on a weekday. I remember that too. So I had to get ready in the bathroom at my office since my work was decidedly not French Riviera themed, and then headed to the party. By the time I got there, I was so nervous and also carrying all my work stuff and other clothes and shoes on my person. As you can imagine, I looked really appropriate for this chic champagne event. So that's how it came to be that there exists a photo of you standing next to a stressed and sweaty girl wearing a dress that, if forced to pick a theme, you might describe as afternoon at the circus. Thanks for being nice anyway, and the champagne was great. I can guarantee you that I probably wouldn't describe your outfit as afternoon at the circus, but I have to tell you, it is a huge missed opportunity. French Riviera in New York, because this event, I remember this event being in New York. Afternoon at the circus, that requires champagne on ice, if I've ever thought of it in my life. And I am 100% sure I would have never clocked this out. I had no idea. When they told me French Riviera, listen, I'm like, I have like classy tendencies, but by blood, I am white trash. Okay, trailer trash, TT. And so I don't know how to dress for the Riviera. I just remember, I think I put on like a silky feeling shirt. I think that was it. And to me, that said Riviera. But a silky feeling shirt is just a short few steps away from afternoon at the circus. So we were basically sort of on the right track together. I really would love to see this outfit again. So if you are this text message and you are feeling so inclined, please text the outfit, because I would love to describe it to the listeners. And I would love to describe, like, what does the outfit give? Is it giving French Riviera, or is it giving afternoon at the circus? Which is an amazing... Okay. I'm going to say this. I think that you've inspired me that if I am ever going to do some sort of like themed party where there is some sort of requested attire, I absolutely will make that attire request to be afternoon at the circus, because I think that would send people into a fucking tailspin. I think that we'd have people showing up with clown attire, with animals, with, I don't even know. I think that we'd get the most crazy outfits ever. And you seem to already have the outfit, so you're invited to whatever event this is where the attire is afternoon at the circus. Okay, let's do one more text message. I feel like we have a bit more time. Okay. Adam, hold on. I had to sniff in for a second. Chilly in here. It's actually so hot in this apartment right now because the heat is cranked up. I don't know how to turn it off. So I'm about to start sweating. Anyway, Adam, first off, I see that it's your birthday. Happy birthday. And some of the photos from today, I saw that your husband referred to you as Short Papa. I need to hear you talk about this on the podcast. Do you all actually say this name out loud to the dogs who picked the name? Thanks. All right. Now, this is actually a good story. Whoa, I almost fell over. This is a good story to share because it may lead you to believe that I should be institutionalized. But I'm just going to share my truth and the truth of the matter. And it is this, that when my husband, JP, that was me. Hold on. When I made that sound, I wasn't actually sighing. I was holding back a yawn. And that was my way of hiding that from you. But I don't want to. I want to be honest. So my husband and I, we commonly will speak in the dogs' voices to each other. And if you have pets, this will make complete sense. So sometimes, in our mind, our dogs can't say they're ours. And let me give you an example. One of the places where our dog Tony specifically loves to go is Home Depot. And so if we're going to go to Home Depot, we'll bring Tony, and everybody loves him. Everybody who's working at the Home Depot we go to has dog treats in their aprons. So we'll be like, oh, I'm going to Home Depot. I feel like I'm getting embarrassed and I'm not doing the full performance of it. But basically, we've decided that when we're speaking, that the dogs refer to us as Tall Papa and Short Papa. And when, because Tracy, our smaller dog, she is sort of like a bitch. There's not really a way around that. She's a bitch. And sometimes if, JP is in the kitchen and Tracy, wants something and he's not giving it to her, he'll do, the voice of, okay, where's that short guy? I bet he'll get it for me. So we'll do something like that. And then another thing we do is that there's this pair of raccoons that sometimes we'll see outside digging in the trash sometimes. And so our dogs are named Tony and Tracy, and I've named the raccoons Roni and Racy, which I think is hilarious. I laugh every single time. So every time I see the raccoons, I'm like, oh, there's Roni and Racy. And what else? I think that's kind of it. I think that's embarrassing enough. Don't you agree? So I'm going to think of more things that we say. But it's sort of along the lines of kind of that. Anyway, I'm going to go into New York. I'm in it already, but I'm going to go outside of this apartment and walk around and do a few errands. And then tomorrow I'm going to be filming that skating stuff. So that's kind of my day for today. That's the update for now. And that's it. So from LA to New York, to Lake Placid, back to New York. Both are in New York. I am Adam Rippon, and this has been Intrusive Thoughts. If you liked the podcast today, which I'm sure you did, I'm sure you really loved, because we've covered it all. We've covered sort of World War II. We've covered L.L.Bean. We've covered European immigrants in the United States. We've covered the working class. We've covered popular children in elementary school. So there's a lot, and we've kind of touched on a lot for a lot of people. We've covered Broadway as well, and Jane Krakowski, and audition work, and the voices of dogs. So it's been quite an amazing journey that we've been on today. So if you've liked it, leave a 5-star review. And if you'd like to text or call the podcast, which you should, and I have to thank everybody who is texting and calling. And I know I keep saying it. I need to do a full episode where we just do the motherfucking voicemails, because I keep talking too much. I know that's like the point, right? The point is just to be like talking. It's a podcast, but I want to show my appreciation because I do like the voicemails that are coming in. That being said, if you would like to call or text the podcast, you can. The number is 310-909-7117. Please call, please text. I love to get them, would love to read them on the show. I want to hear your intrusive thoughts. If you can't remember that phone number off the top of your head like I can, that's all right. The phone number is in my Instagram bio. You can find it there. Call, text, whenever you want. I'll be there. I'll answer it eventually. As you can see, there's a few things I need to talk about. Australian boots, Nazis, and how we don't support them. And we never will. And they were always wrong. And we always believe that. And maybe I should get an L.L.Bean backpack. Maybe. I think I should. Kind of just to stick it to the middle schoolers who had one where I didn't. I was in a JanSport that was falling apart within 2 months of school. Okay? Not that I'm thinking about it still, but, it happened. Anyway, it's been a great episode. I love you dearly. The number for the podcast is 310-909-7117. I can't wait to talk to you next time here on Intrusive Thoughts. Bye, guys. I'll see you next week.